With us this morning from Washington, one of the top Republican strategists and also an informal advisor to presidential candidate Mitt Romney, Charles Black, joining us this morning. Charles, thank you so much for waking up early and speaking with us. The president talked about corporate incentives to return jobs to the U.S., developing natural gas reserves, more training, tougher enforcement of trade rules, and, of course, taxes. What did you agree with out of what the president said?
Well, very little, because what the president talked about were policies that would hurt job creation, hurt manufacturing. You know, it was like he has not been president for the last 3 years. He didn't refer to his record where he's blocked the production of new energy sources, where he just recently blocked the Keystone Pipeline. He should have been talking about the kind of corporate tax reform that Mr. Kent of Coca-Cola was just talking about to Eric. He did not propose anything like that. So, you know, the president's, it was a good political speech. He's running for re-election on class warfare, and he wants to divide the pie, redistribute the wealth, take from the rich and give to the poor in sort of a Robin Hood fashion, which will do nothing to create jobs. The private sector creates jobs, not the government.
Do you think that he's leaving out, I mean, obviously the bankers are the bad guys right now, but banking is a huge sector of American business. Do you see it being left out?
Well, and right now what's going on to the banking industry is the implementation of the Dodd-Frank regulations, which is taking a very long time. It's leaving a lot of uncertainty over the industry, banks large and small. It's stopping them from supplying credit to businesses large and small because of the uncertainty. So the best thing that the president could do to help spur the economy and help the banking industry would be to get the Dodd-Frank rules done in a reasonable way so that they weren't too strict and we had certainty and we could get back to the traditional kind of commerce where banks loan money to businesses.
But Charlie, we have seen the Dow rise 60% since Obama has been in office, so that it's not all bad here.
Well, he came in when the Dow was at rock bottom after the financial crisis of '08, the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. I think the market bottomed out in March of '09. And where the Dow is today is, I am told by people smarter than me, is due to the fact that corporate profits are good, not because of any government policy. In fact, the government policies are more taxing, more spending, not addressing the huge deficits and debt, not addressing entitlement reform. The things that he left out of the speech, if he did address those in a proper way, we might see a larger economic growth and a lot higher Dow.
The rise in corporate profits, though, and the fact that the U.S. economy is recovering should be enough to spur companies to at least start thinking about expanding as well in the U.S. The fact that Obama didn't point to his record during the State of the Union, but notwithstanding the fact that the stock market did rise during his term, shouldn't that indicate he's not as anti-business as some might accuse him of being?
You just have to look at the specific policies. Here he wants to raise taxes on investors. He's doing nothing to cut the second highest corporate tax rate in the world. He talks about cutting regulations. My gosh, the regulations from the EPA as well as Dodd-Frank regulations have stifled business
Charlie,
and growth.
If I could just
Obamacare is a huge wet blanket on the small business community in this country, the real driver of job creation.
If I could just interrupt, as you were talking about not addressing, I know you're an informal advisor to Mitt Romney. There's a lot Mitt Romney hasn't addressed. Why haven't we seen more of Mitt talking about the private equity business and really defending it? It's what's made him a successful American businessman.
If you watch the debates over the last month or so, you've seen him be attacked for being in the private equity business, and he has defended it, and he has explained it, and he's established that his company, the net of their investments has created over 100,000 jobs. Now, of course, if you wanted to tax investors who supplied that money to invest in those companies and create those jobs, tax them more, as the president proposed last night, you're going to stifle economic growth. Listen, we got a small recovery that started, just barely enough to keep up with the growth in the population. We have 2 million more unemployed since the president took office, 13 million unemployed in this country, and 20 million either underemployed or have left the job market. When you go out on Main Street, People want jobs. They want job creation. They do not believe that President Obama and the government are going to get them those jobs.
All right. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Charles Black. He is an informal advisor to Mitt Romney, also the chairman of Prime Policy Group.